Hi everyone, it's Sunday, October the 4th, and I want to get another video out to everyone today. Harry is heartbroken. He realizes he is being used. Disclaimer, full disclaimer can be found in the description below. I hope you'll subscribe, leave your comments, like if you like the video. And one other thing I want to mention, if you're not a subscriber, you might want to consider subscribing. Don't miss out on content that only my subscribers see. Click on the logo or the button to become a subscriber today. It's absolutely free. Set your notifications so that you'll know when videos are being posted. All right, let's get started. And let's see which one's the first one. I think right here. Okay. I'd like to start with the article written by NPR, and it says Royal Reporters chart Harry and Meghan's journey in finding freedom. Now, I want to give you guys, you see the warning, nausea. So this was published on August the 9th, written by Lulu Garcia Navarro. And they're going to interview Omid, Scobie, and Carolyn Durand. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but I'll read this paragraph. Travel with me for a moment back to happier times. It's May 19th, 2018, in a live broadcast from St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, 16 months after they met. A handsome British prince marries a beautiful American actress in a ceremony unlike any previous royal wedding. There's the book. And how lovely it all was. How sweet and happy they were. Within a year, there's a baby. Within 2 years, there's a rupture, a big one. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex decide royal life isn't for them. I think time and time again, we felt there were sides of the stories that were often missing, Scobie says. The mission was really to paint a different perspective of a story that many feel they already knew. Well, we did know the story and we knew the truth, but Scobie's trying to make it seem like we didn't hear the truth before. The Duke and Duchess say they were not interviewed for the book and did not contribute to it, though many royal watchers are skeptical. But Durand says Harry and Meghan have made a statement about the book. I think that's quite clear. Guys, she doesn't say that they didn't talk to him. She didn't say that they didn't work with him and get information directly from him. She just says that Harry and Meghan have made a statement. I hope that in the court battle that, and I said this, I believe, in the last video, that Carolyn Durand is called in to be a witness for the Mail on Sunday in their defense against Meghan Markle, and she is asked the question of whether or not they worked directly with them, received statements, or even wrote a part of the story and sent it over to them. Because she's not saying that they didn't work with them. She's just directing you back that they made a statement. All right, so let's move on. On Meghan Markle's personality, Carolyn Durand says, Meghan is quite driven, she's focused, she's absolutely passionate about her charitable and humanitarian work. She's someone that Harry has really found a kindred spirit in when they met and fell in love once the two became a couple. On whether the tabloid treatment of the Duchess was a wake-up call for Prince Harry, Omid, Scobie says, well, I think Harry's journey to wokeness has been very public. We've sort of seen him learning and educating himself along the way. But this experience of witnessing Meghan face racist remarks and commentary would have been the first time that he has ever saw someone in his life or someone that he is particularly close to affected by it in a certain way. Well, guys, how does Omid Scobie know this? How does he know that this is the first time Harry's ever witnessed someone supposedly having racist comments toward her or experiences? How does Omid know this unless this come directly from Harry? He couldn't know it, is the answer. And we talk about some of the more obvious examples in some of the media coverage, but I think the things that have flown under the radar are are some of the sort of othering of Meghan that we've seen. We've sort of seen her repeatedly that she's not one of us, and now, what do they mean by not one of us? And I think that there are things like this which Harry really had to become more attuned to and learn to see when it happens in front of him. And Meghan would have been the person that guided him on that journey. So basically what he's saying there, and this is not racist, and I think what they mean, he's saying that it's not racist, but meaning that she's not a Brit is what I think. But he's saying that she had to point it out to him. Harry, when your friends say that I'm not one of them, they're being racist. They're looking at the color of my skin. But no, they're looking at it. She's not British. She's not part of the aristocracy. She's hasn't went to school with them, hasn't grown up, hasn't known them. She's just a complete outsider that's come in. They're not treating her in a racist way. If they did say that, she's not one of us, that means she's not in their posse, in their group that they've hung out with for years. That's all they're saying. But Meghan convinced Harry that it was otherwise and that they were being racist toward her, that it was about her color. So then Scobie goes on to say, in the tensions between Prince Harry and William, it's one of the early stories to come out of the book was this conversation that took place between Harry and William, where William seemingly gives sort of brotherly advice to Harry about sort of perhaps watching the speed at which his relationship with Meghan was progressing. And I think there had been some people who have commented that this might have been a moment where Harry was too sensitive. Okay, so Omid's saying, well, Harry was just being too sensitive. No, we're not saying that. But what we are saying is he's not listening to what he's saying. So that's why people said, well, maybe he's being oversensitive. He's not listening to say that this girl is a stranger. Take some time to get to know her. Don't rush into anything. And again, it has nothing to do with who she is or what color her skin is. So after Harry was too sensitive, but I think we need to really look at the overall picture here and what led up to that moment. Harry was already aware of some of the murmurings that were taking place behind his back within the royal household about Meghan. He also experienced some of his own friends speaking about Meghan or making negative remarks behind her back. Well, I'm sure they did, and it was said that even his friends spoke to him and said they had some concerns about her. And, she just kind of didn't fit in, and they were just worried about things that she may have said to them. So, and that word would have traveled back to him. So when William sat down and had that conversation with him, that was the starting point. So on the supposed rivalry between Meghan and Kate Middleton, there's no rift here, guys. Durand said, well, I think that, as a woman, we see this all the time where we try to pit two women against each other. And certainly that narrative of dueling duchesses was attractive to the UK tabloids. No, I don't think that the media was trying to pit one against the other. I think they saw what Meghan was doing and they voiced opinions about it. And we realized that Kate was hurt and upset by the things that she did, but she didn't speak out about it. But you could certainly see the tensions mounting. And then with Harry not wanting to speak to his brother, this made matters worse. And of course, William's going to take up for Catherine and what happened to her. He knows the truth. He knows she's not a drama queen, that she doesn't exaggerate and embellish a story like Meghan would. Then Scobie says, but of course, What we did find along the way was a friendship between the two that never really progressed, that never reached a place of great warmth or depth. Well, there's a reason for that, Scobie. It's because she saw straight through Meghan, and she saw what other people saw in her. Excuse me. And I'm sure had discussions about it, and I'm sure that she and William spoke about it, but she didn't go out and attack or wasn't out saying anything about Meghan. But I'm sure privately they did have conversations, but there was no rift between them. But the more Meghan spoke about it, then the more the tabloids and papers picked up that there was a rift and that, they weren't getting along. And what led to the decision to step back as working royals. So I think Meghan Markle created this and used this as her a scapegoat or reason for leaving. Durand said Harry really was looking out for his family. His wife felt aggrieved, and they thought that the best decision they could make was to step back, have a little bit more privacy, but still be in a situation where they could carry on. Now, they wanted their cake and eat it too. And they said they wanted privacy. They didn't want privacy. They just wanted to pick and choose what royal duties that they participated in. And they really wanted to push their own agenda. And that was to make Meghan this big influencer and big humanitarian in the eyes of the public. Their mission is to devote themselves to the causes that were so important to them. Yeah, they wanted to work on the causes, but they wanted to do it their way. They didn't want to listen to the courtiers, to the Queen. They didn't want to follow royal protocol. And Meghan doesn't like anybody telling her what to do. And we know that Harry just went along with it. On how they'll support themselves now, Scobie says, I think it's quite funny when we hear people talking about will they have enough money or not. Firstly, Harry is, of course, a very wealthy individual. He brings that to the picture as well. Meghan, already accomplished actress, probably living very comfortably off royalties coming from suits. Well, I think that goes to show he knows that Meghan doesn't have money, and I think and it's been said that she didn't really have the 5,000, but the 5 million. That it was more like a little over $1 million or $1.5 million, but she wanted to make it seem like she had that much money because she didn't want people calling her a gold digger. So she tried to seem like she had her own money. It is still one of the most streamed shows on Netflix. No. But of course, they do have a proper working model laid out for them. So they're saying they already had this model, this business plan, what they were going to do. They were working on this the whole time. They were still with the royal family. Up ahead, we've seen them sign on as smart speakers with the Harry Walker Agency. Although, and I'll say this, Harry Walker Agency has still never even put them on their website. They've still never even said that they are a part of them. And when you look it up, they're not there. What's important to note is despite all the rumors or the reports about them cashing in on their royal titles, really the work that they do continues as normal. No, they're not doing any work, and when this happened, they stepped back from everything. Everything they do will continue to have the same social impact that it had before. And that's really the most important thing to them. This is just more proof, I believe, that Omid and Carolyn have and continue to talk with Harry and Meghan by the things that are being said in here. If they weren't speaking to them, they couldn't be talking about, the details of how they're feeling and what their plans were at the time. This is just a book, and if you look at the little arrow on here, I don't know how this happened, but this was on the book review, and I believe this one was from Wikipedia, and it says Meghan Markle, A Modern Family is a collaboration between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Carolyn Durand, and Omid Scobie, and published by HarperCollins. I don't know who went in there and called him that. That's not very nice, but that's on Wikipedia, so I guess anybody can go in and change it. And I don't recall that being up there the last time I saw it, and no, I didn't do it. All right, so now I want to go back and talk about this, the New York Times, and this is their review on the book. So it says, happily ever after, Harry and Meghan will settle for normal. Harry and Meghan and the making of a modern royal family. And Omid and Carolyn. Omid says, I cried for Meghan Markle 3 times. The first time was 2 years ago, shortly before she married Prince Harry, when her father appeared out of thin air and embarrassed his daughter. On the eve of her wedding, weeks later, I cried tears of joy when I watched her walk down the aisle of Prince Charles's arm, and as the cameraman went from her face to Prince Harry's. So that's the first time was when the father came out and embarrassed her. Second time is when he saw Meghan and then Prince Harry's face. And the third time he cried was after Meghan had told ITV's Tom Bradby that not many people had asked her how she was doing. So he sobbed over that and thought, oh, that's so sad. All right, let's move on. Yet, and I'm reading the line right above the picture, yet finding freedom just did not deliver. The authors investigate the so-called scandals that landed on the front pages of several British tabloids and went viral across the globe, time and time again, many of which showed the prince was spoiled and out of touch with the most, of which made Markle out as the difficult Duchess. It's clear that Durand and Scobie spoke with several people about these incidents to provide record-correcting context, but their efforts became exhausting, bogging down the story with tedious details. The authors write that all the information included in the book had at least 2 sources, but do not mention it to the couple that was involved. Scobie has insisted that they were not, and the Sussexes have also denied being interviewed or participating, which I don't think that's true. The examples of when Prince Harry's own family failed to defend him and his wife stack up in a new way that makes it easier for you to understand. While the couple felt the need to exit the firm by the end of 2019, they had to take a back seat to the other royal engagements. They disliked the bureaucracy of Buckingham Palace, and they couldn't speak up for themselves when attacked in the press. So, and the other thing, combined with the royal silence, and despite multiple requests from Prince Harry that someone in the house, a family, defend Markle, left them feeling that the institution was using them for their popularity. Finding Freedom does offer an alternative to the storyline that has become a go-to for the couple's detractors, in particular for those who argue that Meghan Markle is high maintenance and controlling and has forced her husband to leave his family. Here she is presented as the independent woman who emboldened him to stand up for himself and do whatever it took to get what he wanted, a life outside the firm. I believe that's what Meghan wanted. So this was on Carolyn Durand's Twitter page, and I just wanted to show you what she had pinned, and this was back where she was just retweeting the Duchess Sussex has become a tireless advocate for women's empowerment. So she hasn't been talking about the book. She didn't go out and be interviewed with it or with Omid, but it does say that she is a resident of Brooklyn and that she's an advocate for women's empowerment, social justice, and gender equality issues for many years. She was greeted by young students who called Meghan their idol. And what I wanted to show you is it was Carolyn Durand that retweeted the article that was in Elle magazine. and that Prince Harry made the first U.S. TV appearance imploring people to vote from their backyards. And then she posted, that's 9/23 of this year, 9/22 of this year. She posted a story about the Duchess of Cambridge spent today hearing about the importance of parent-powered support programs. And then on 9/16 of this year, Carolyn Durand retweeted at the Elon Don Mosque, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge learned how volunteers have supported members of their community during the pandemic by delivering warm meals and medication, and have provided befriending calls to the isolated, vulnerable, and elderly. All right, this is something, just wanted to show you. This was like on Carolyn Durand, and it says that she's a royal contributor for Elle.com and Oprah magazine. So I believe that Oprah worked with convincing Carolyn to be a part of Harry and Meghan's book, and I think really to get her started and to almost be the ghostwriter. So on to the next. This is the Sun reports, and it says that Meg claims the 49 details and finding freedom that could have only come from Meghan Markle, claims the Mail on Sunday. And I just want you guys to go over and watch all of these. Yankee Wally put out a video, and it says the 49 lies of Meghan Markle are about to be exposed. I don't want to go through and repeat that, since she does take the opportunity to go through each one. And it's a great video, so I hope you guys will go over and watch Yankee Wally. The Sussex accused the paper of misleading readers when it published the private letter by strategically omitting paragraphs, sentences, and specific words. Yes, right. At the time, Harry said that he and his wife were forced to take action against relentless propaganda from sections of the media. What is the Mail on Sunday's defense? High court documents filed by the newspaper claim that the Duchess did not have a reasonable expectation of privacy, that the contents of her letter were private and would remain so. So, crossed out part of this. Who's paying for the Duchess's case? The proceedings are being funded privately by the Sussexes, and with any proceeds from the damages awarded to be donated to anti-bullying charities. Well, there's been a few charities out there that said that you've promised them things, but you haven't delivered on that. So I think you need to come over and do that. It says that the couple are believed to have spent about £350,000 on the actions so far. And it says that they are going to donate the proceeds to the anti-bullying charity. This is Queen Sorrow, head of another tell-all book. And now it appears that Her Majesty is set for more embarrassment with the release of another book, which promises to reveal more details about Megxit, according to Mail Online. Battle of Brothers is the title. William and Harry, and the inside story of a family in a tumultuous, can't see him behind there, and the events that took place during the Sandringham Summit. And that was when they had to, at the last minute, go and meet and do the Megxit deal. And Meghan flew back to Canada, left Harry all alone by himself. Queen Elizabeth was reportedly left reeling after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle gave a damning account of life at the palace in their tell-all book, Finding Freedom. Can you blame her? Now, the eagerly awaited book, which is due for release on October the 15th, was written by British historian Robert Lacey, who works as a consultant on Netflix drama, The Crown. So, how ironic is that? The person who's writing this actually, Robert Lacey, was actually worked as a consultant with Netflix and The Crowns, and so now he's kind of inserted himself there and has written a book about him to be out October the 9th. Oh, what was the other thing? Nope, I think that was it. Prince Harry heartbreak. Meghan Markle does not care about what he wants. and I believe that. According to In Touch Weekly, the 35-year-old prince is said to be happy and upset and is understood to be frustrated that he's stuck in California because of the coronavirus pandemic. His emotions are due to the Duke and Duchess not seeing his family in months after trying to get them down as senior royals in March. Meanwhile, the 39-year-old Meghan is reportedly more content as she doesn't feel like she's missing out. Aside from hanging out with family, she reportedly dismisses the former Suit star would rather stay in their new $14 million home mansion to decorate. So, saying that Meghan doesn't want to go back to England, that she's happy to have her two friends that, sorry, I lost my train of thought a minute. Anyway, let me just go on, sorry. So, aside from hanging out with the family, she repeatedly despises the former Suit star, would rather stay in their $14 million mansion to decorate. Before officially stepping down in March, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle accepted an invitation to the Scottish estate for a late summer reunion, but due to the COVID-19, it unfortunately hampered their plans. Prince Harry is said to be happy that he and his wife were able to move into their new home after originally landing in Los Angeles. Let me get something to drink. Thank you. However, they had other plans and they had decided to plant their roots in Santa Barbara. According to a source, Harry doesn't know the area well at all, but so far so good. Santa Barbara is more his scene than Los Angeles. The source added that the Duke of Sussex has more of the freedom and space that he needs in Santa Barbara, something that Los Angeles couldn't give him. I think he's very sad, and I think he's upset, and I think he realizes what's going on. So this meme comes from the cat with the royal emerald tiara and Royal Confessions reblogged it, and I think that speaks volumes. Meghan and Harry think they have a more more influence than they really have. They do need a reality check. So again, I want to thank you all for watching. I'm sorry it's like the middle of the night, like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm afraid I'm at the point where I can barely keep my eyes open. Again, don't forget to subscribe so that you can see content and receive messages and videos that only my subscribers received. It's very easy to sign up. You just set up a Gmail account and just go to it, and then you can leave your comments, and you don't have to pay for anything. This is all free. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll be back with you soon.